One truck, 50 different rule books, and your paycheck caught in the crossfire. My friends, this headline is just about the EPA holding a press conference in Indiana bragging about $54 million in savings. No, no, no. This is about whether truckers like you and me are going to keep driving through a never ending maze of state versus federal trucking rules that treat an interstate hauler like a guinea pig in some political science experiment. Well, a friend of mine the other night suggested there might be changes. Well, let's take a roll down the road where these changes might actually be. 17 states so far lining up to copy California. And the courts, they're going to take years to sort it out. So, in the meantime, while they're playing regulatory ping pong, you're out here trying to keep the dream alive, asking yourself, well, which standard do I build for? Which lanes are worth the risk? And how many more compliance hoops am I going to have to jump through just to keep my rig rolling? You're here because you want clarity. You want one national trucking standard. That's why today's headlines, it's a rally cry. Uniform rulebook now. Truckers demand one standard. Coming up on Truckin Headlines. Greetings, truck lovers and truth seekers from all across the United States of trucking. BossMan here behind the golden TIB microphone. Once again, this is Truckin Headlines. Critical thinking fueled by faith, sanctioned by God. And we have the headlines you need. They're selling you the idea that tearing up the 2009 Endangerment Finding means we'll have one national standard again. California's not packing up their rule book and going home. No, they've got this Clean Air Act waiver, and with it, they can slap sticker rules on your truck, even if Washington says otherwise. Then here's the kicker. 17 other states are lined up to copy whatever California does. If California says you need new emissions targets, well, or you got to plug in and charge every 300 miles, well, those states are going to follow suit as well. That turns the national market into a minefield of compliance zones. Congress tried to yank the wheel. They used the Congressional Review Act to block 3 of California's big waivers. California already filed these lawsuits and said, well, no, not so fast. And while these political gladiators swing swords in court, you're still out here specking trucks, planning lanes, and making payments without knowing the next quarter's rules. Let me ask you, would you spec 2 different trucks just to stay legal coast to coast? Or would you walk away from certain lanes and abandon business plans? Let me know in the comments below. For the average one truck operation, this isn't theory, this is survival. Every waiver that sticks means more cost to run in those states. Until the gavel drops and the courts pick a winner, well, the dream of a uniform rule book is just that. It's just a dream. So here's the part nobody in the press conferences will ever tell you. The EPA can't wave their arms and call this the biggest rollback in history. Nothing changes for your truck. Either way, tomorrow, you're still running the same DPF. You're still running that DEF crap. The same regen cycles and the same regen nightmares exist. Your downtime headaches, still there. The prices on new trucks, they're still baked in from years worth of regulations that nobody can change overnight. They're not ripping these designs up overnight just because the EPA says, well, we might loosen up. So even if the federal rules loosen, states' rules might not. That means you could be stuck with routes that cost you more just because of where they are. And until this gets fought out in court, and that could take years, there's no guarantee of any of this showing up in your bottom line. So if loosening the rules means cheaper trucks but higher fuel burn, do you take the deal? Let me know that. Let's start that conversation, because this is where we make a difference. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about rules. It's about your money, your truck payment, your fuel bill, your maintenance. All these things are the big dogs eating off of your plate every month. If this rollback actually sticks, maybe truck prices stop climbing so fast. But remember, OEMs have already baked in these costs. Fuel, if the rollback means less push for fuel efficiency, you might save a little bit on the sticker, but you're going to pay more at the pump. That's like getting a raise on Friday, but losing it at the pump on Monday. Resale, if the rules keep flipping, the market can turn on you fast. You buy a cleaner, newer truck thinking it's the future. Demand swings back to diesel. Or you keep your older truck, and 2 years later, the states win in court. Suddenly, your rig's not legal in half the lanes. For the one truck operator, there's no absorbing the cost. Megas do it all the time. Every penny either keeps the dream alive or pushes you closer to hanging up the keys. That's why one uniform rule book isn't just a slogan. It's the line between survival and shutdown. So here's the road sign we're staring at. The EPA says rollback, right? Billions saved. But California and its copycat states aren't letting go of the wheel. Until the courts sort it out, the one truck operator still navigating that minefield, they're planning routes, they're speccing trucks, and they're paying the same bills with no guarantee of what's on the horizon. And if this sounds familiar, it's because we've seen it before. Regulators aiming at the wrong target. That's why you need to check out my previous video. It's titled FMCSA's Big Safety Push, Aiming at the Wrong Target. It's a live show where we sat there and talked about some of the very things I'm bringing to you now. Mechanics, EPA regulations, the what ifs, the doubts, all of that. It's another case of people in charge missing the real issues while truckers like you and me pay the price. Watch that next and you'll see exactly how these two stories connect. And listen, if you want more people like this to see this kind of talk, be helpful and engaging in conversation that moves the needle, and take a moment, go down below, hit that like button right now. It'll tell YouTube to show this to more people that need to see the truth. We are here bringing you headlines you probably wouldn't see otherwise. Because my friends, one truck, 50 rule books, no. Your paycheck isn't up for sale. Your paycheck is what moves the needle. And with systems that can win, tomorrow's a better day. We either get one standard or we get death by 1,000 cuts. And I don't know about you, but I'm not here to die on paperwork. Friends, remember, it's the trucks that make the deliveries, but you that make the difference. Till the next headline, keep it upright, keep the faith, and keep her rolling.